What if everything you've ever been told about your dreams is wrong? What if the impossible isn't just a word, but a challenge waiting to be conquered? Meet Alex, a young man from a small town who dared to dream beyond the stars and turned his impossible dream into a reality. This is the story of how one person's belief shattered every limit and proved that nothing is truly out of reach. There was once a young man named Alex who grew up in a small, quiet town tucked away in the valley. The people there were kind and hardworking, but life was simple. Everyone had their place, and most of them stayed in their lane, farming, working at the local store, or taking care of the town. It was a peaceful existence, but for Alex, it felt like the world was passing him by. From an early age, Alex had big dreams, dreams that no one else seemed to share. He wasn't interested in just living life as it came. He wanted to reach for something greater. But what drove him more than anything was his fascination with space. He wanted to be an astronaut. Not just any astronaut, but someone who would travel to the stars, walk on distant planets, and witness things that no one had ever seen before. He would spend hours staring up at the night sky, imagining himself among the stars. He read books, watched documentaries, and built little rockets in his backyard. But every time he shared his dream with someone, the response was the same. "That's impossible, Alex. You're from here. People like us don't go to space." His classmates, his teachers, even his family told him that his dream was too far out of reach. But Alex refused to believe them. He knew one thing. The only way to achieve the impossible is to believe it is possible. Alex didn't let anyone's doubts stop him. Despite the ridicule, he kept his focus on his goal. When high school graduation came, the only thing on his mind was getting into a good college with a strong engineering program. It wasn't easy. He came from a family with little money, and his town was far from any major city. But he applied to every scholarship he could find, worked extra hours in a local diner, and studied late into the night. Finally, the day came when he received a scholarship offer from one of the top engineering schools in the country. It wasn't NASA, but it was a step forward. He packed his bags and moved away from home, leaving behind everything he knew. But that was the first challenge of many. At college, Alex faced new struggles. He wasn't the smartest student in the class. In fact, he often found himself behind, surrounded by students with more resources, more connections, and more experience. But he never doubted why he was there. He knew that every class he attended, every challenge he faced, was one step closer to his dream. His professors told him it would take years to build the knowledge and skills necessary for space exploration, but Alex believed the impossible was within his grasp. During his free time, he worked at the campus observatory, learning about space travel, rockets, and the technology used by astronauts. He networked with other students who shared similar dreams. He even interned at a local aerospace company, doing menial tasks just to be in the right environment. After graduation, Alex faced the most daunting obstacle of all, applying to NASA. His resume wasn't full of prestigious internships or connections with high-profile figures in the space industry. He was just a small-town kid with a dream, a belief, and the unwavering determination to prove that the impossible could be done. He applied to NASA and waited. Weeks passed, then months, and finally, he received the letter. Rejected. At first, he was devastated. All the hard work, the sleepless nights, the sacrifices, had it all been for nothing? His dream felt farther away than ever. But instead of giving up, Alex doubled down. He worked on improving his skills. He gained more experience. He even spent some time volunteering for community outreach programs, sharing his story with young students who might one day have the same dreams. For years, Alex applied to NASA, getting rejected time and time again. It felt like an impossible goal. He was constantly told he wasn't qualified enough. But every time he was rejected, he didn't give up. He didn't stop believing. The impossible wasn't something that stopped him. It was just another hurdle to overcome. Then, after years of perseverance, Alex finally got the call. NASA wanted to interview him. He couldn't believe it. After so many years of rejection, someone finally saw what he believed all along, that the impossible could be done. Alex aced the interview, and just a few months later, he was officially accepted into NASA's astronaut program. It was the culmination of years of struggle, failure, and belief in his dream. He wasn't just another applicant anymore. He was someone who had proven that belief in the impossible could lead to extraordinary things. But even then, his journey didn't end there. Becoming an astronaut wasn't just about the application. It was about surviving the rigorous training program, something that broke even the toughest candidates. There were days Alex wanted to quit. The physical demands were overwhelming, the mental strain almost unbearable. But each time he wanted to give up, he remembered why he started. Through the grueling training, Alex held on to the belief that he was meant for something bigger. He reminded himself of the long nights when no one else believed in him, when everyone said it was impossible. His belief, his drive, was what kept him moving forward. And finally, after years of sacrifice, Alex was selected for his first mission to the International Space Station. The day Alex boarded the spacecraft that would take him into space was surreal. As the rocket blasted off, he thought about everything he had been through. From the small-town kid dreaming of the stars to the astronaut floating in space, it was all possible because he believed it could be done. He had pushed past every barrier, ignored every doubt, and achieved what was once thought impossible. As he floated in the vast emptiness of space, looking down at Earth, Alex couldn't help but think about all the people who told him he couldn't do it. Those voices no longer mattered. The only voice that mattered was his own, the voice that believed the impossible was possible. And that belief took him farther than he could have ever imagined. If Alex's story inspired you, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more motivational content. Drop a comment below if you've ever faced doubt and found the strength to push through. We'd love to hear your stories and how you believe in making the impossible possible.